At the end of yesterday's episode, we were talking about cutting this section of railing off a third of the way from this post to this post. In other words, right here. And then we were going to glue a little, a fake post right at the ends of the rails there, so it would match up with the this little deck right here. But I think the best thing to do would be to glue our little fake post on. Maybe a third of the way might not be enough. Maybe it might be closer to a half a distance, or almost a half a distance. Thinking out loud again. Anyway, glue the post on to the rails before I cut this section off. I might have better luck. We have done this before, so we know it works. And the place where we want to put our little post is right about here. Maybe that's a better angle. It's going to go right about there, almost halfway between from this post to this post. At least that's what we had concluded was the best. I'll put the macro lens on and you'll be able to see it better. Okay, I will put the macro lens on, but first I just want you to see the layout here. Got it propped up on this end so that this part right here is going to be flat on the piece of cereal box paper. And this piece that we're going to try and glue on here is actually just another piece of railing, like the four rails. It would be really nice if we had another post, but if I was to get another post, it's going to have parts of railing on it, so it's not going to, I suppose I could always do it on the other side. Anyway, I think right about like that is just about right. Now, we're going to have to hold this down somehow. Okay, I want to be very careful to not move the little railing. Okay, I think did I get enough on this one? Well, I did now for sure. Okay, that's CA thin. We'll just let that cure. Then I'll take the pin away. And, because I don't want to glue the pin to the rail. That pin, by the way, is bent from years ago. I used it for something, I can't remember what. I was just thinking, I can probably glue this without touching the pin. Oh. Well, that didn't go as planned, but I think it's going to be okay. Okay, it's sitting on a piece of plexiglass right now. And I want to try and make sure I keep it in your field of view. If I can. Now, is that liquidy? I don't think so. Maybe I should try and find something that I can hold it down. I want to be able to push in at an angle. Although not too much of an angle. Well, let's see what happens. I guess worst comes to worst, I can always re-glue it, I guess. Okay, that's that one. Now we'll get it off of there. And that's that one. One more. Well, I don't know where it went, but I don't need to. That's not the piece we need. Now, what about these ones? Because it's sitting on, this piece is sitting on top of this piece, so it's going to want to kind of rock a little bit here. If I turn it over, it's going to bend it the wrong way. Just let me think a minute here. Okay, I did turn it over. So right now when I press down on this, let's see, this is not the one that we want to have the post sticking up on. This one we want as flush as possible. Okay, now one more here. Try and keep this in your field of view. I think that still should be sharp for you. Maybe this will be better. Now this one we want to have a little bit of a post sticking up. Whoop. Yeah, I think that's all right. Okay, let's see how much readjusting we have to do here now. Well, it looks like very little. Okay. Oh, I was noticing when I was editing out in yesterday's video, this little platform got broken off here. I'll get that later. It came off right here, I believe. In fact, I don't believe it, I know it. What I think the best way to go with this right now is get this end glued down, then get this end glued down in place. Why do I have to keep poking when I've got it right? Okay. And then when I get the ends right, then the rest of it will sort of accordion into shape, if you know what I mean. At least that's what I'm thinking right now. If I can get this back on here now. Well, I'll get it and I'll put the macro lens on. Now, it'd be really nice if the post on the left was just a little bit more towards us. But if I try to move it, I'm going to end up flipping the whole thing onto the deck below. Now, what I'm hoping for is that this will wick its way down between the two posts very gently. If I hold my breath any longer, I'm going to pass out here. Okay, let's try it again. Bracing my hand a little bit better. Did I get it? I think I did. No. Let's let that cure. Safe now to try and put a little bit more on. And if it doesn't work, as I said yesterday, we know who the moron is. Now I don't think we need to worry about it falling off the other end. See if we can wedge this in here. Back like this. A little bit too far. If I could just sort of hook onto it and drag it. That's not working. Maybe my holder downer would work. Right. Now if I could hold it like that with one hand, but when I look away to try and find my applicator, okay, I'm going to have to just reposition myself here, and now it's stuck in there. Okay. Now if I could just get that railing post a little bit closer to the railing of the ladder. Don't know if I can. It keeps springing back. Well, maybe that's... I know we're looking at it tremendously close right now, so we see all the flaws. Whoops, I lifted it up. That's not good. Maybe if I repositioned my pusher down a little bit. Okay, I do believe I got it. I'll let that cure. Okay, make sure we got everything lined up in the monitor the way we want it here. So the perspective is just right. And get a little extra light going. Ah, that helps. Okay. Now I'm noticing here that I've obviously bent my railings in different places with my pusher downer, and we're going to have to straighten that later. Now obviously there is very little correction to have to make here, just the odd place where we have to pull the railing in a little closer to the ledge. And then this one section is done on one side. Okay, we need a little bit of glue there. Maybe just a little bit right here. No use overdoing it. Then we'll run along the edge and straighten up, places that have to be straightened up. And that's the way I do it. Now I think if we get our corners pushed into place, just hold it there like that. I'm going to rush it a little bit. Now let's try and twist this off instead of pulling it off. Yeah, it stayed there. Now we'll move over and do this one here. And once again, roll it off. Well, that worked good. I don't think we need to add any more. Now I believe there was 3 places where it was quite noticeable that the railing was bent. Here's the first one. It's not real bad. Just bend this up just a little here if we can. Okay, let's check the monitor. How's that look? Yeah, that's okay. Now the other 2 are this one, which is real obvious. Maybe a tiny bit more. this one here just a little bit. Okay, let's check the monitor here. Yeah, that's okay. Now, you've probably noticed this too. You can see there, I don't know if that's plastic, that where the ship was molded. I do believe that's plastic. It could be that when I was handling it, I might have accidentally done that myself. Now, the idea is to try and scrape that flesh. Whoops. Okay, let's brush that away and see if that looks better. Very gently here. Don't want to knock the railing off. Sort of scrub it off a little bit. Now when we look at the railing at a distance like this, where we can see all of that piece of railing, that section rather, all at the same time, it looks pretty good. Unless, you see the flaws when you move in really, really close. But normal viewing distance, and this is almost closer than normal, yeah, it looks pretty good. I'm pretty happy with the way this is going on here. If I can get the other side on now like this, I'll be happy. I'm not going to video it, but I'm just going to go ahead and do it now. Okay, I know we've done something like this before, but let's do it again just to double check. And want to be very careful that I don't break the little ladders off, because they are so fragile. Okay, I've got one end at the bow, and okay, does anybody know how to read upside down? What does that look like? 51.5? I'm always kind of leery about these cloth type measuring tapes. I don't think I've ever actually checked one before. But when you stretch it out taut, it's pretty well right on. So that's all right. Okay, we have 3 lengths left on this sheet right here, and these ones are both full yet. And each sheet of railing, there's seven lengths on it, so that's 14, 15, 16, 17. And each individual rail is 8 5/8 inches long. Let's do the math and just make sure we're going to have enough here to go around the outside, because the outside of the gunnels, that's probably the most important part. That'll be the most noticeable part, most likely. What I'm looking for here on this drawing is breaks in the railing, like, like where the bollards are, where the ropes come through and so on. Is there a break in the railing there, or does the rope just sort of pass underneath the rails? And it looks like it just would go underneath the rail. This, to me, does not look realistic. It looks good, but would it really be like that? Let's check Stefan's drawings. Now, I didn't take the time to hang the camera up from overhead like I usually do, but this still should be fairly sharp here. And yes, it does appear that the railing was in place, and in all likelihood, for instance, right here, where the depth charges were dropped over the stern of the ship, in all likelihood, when they were going to do that, the railing was just sort of unhooked. There's another picture here that shows the bow. I'll just move over to it. Okay. You notice right here where it goes around the anchor, sort of where the anchor well is there, whatever they call that. And it does appear that right here it goes all the way around. Then there's another picture that I saw that shows that it was, okay, right here. There's no breaks anywhere. Same thing right here. You can notice it looks like it's chain, right? And right here, where these are, where the ropes would come through, I imagine that the chain just unhooked. Makes sense to me anyway. So it looks like we're going to have to put the railing all the way around the entire gunnel. Now it's getting on here in the afternoon, so I'm going to have to cut this video off. However, one of the viewers, in fact this is probably the third time, maybe the fourth time, that somebody has mentioned to me, why don't you do your railings in shorter sections? It's a lot easier. And yes, it is a lot easier, but I always felt that if I was to use a bunch of short pieces, which is a lot easier, I was going to end up with a place like this. In other words, a useless section. And because I was so concerned about the fact that I could run out, I was trying to utilize full lengths, because you lose the least. Now, we have done twice where we have successfully put a post on the end of a place like that, and it has worked. So I now know that I can do that. I'm not so paranoid now about running out of railing. I do believe, after doing the math, we are going to have enough railing as long as we don't have some disaster happen. Anyway, it looks like places like right here, I thought that the railing would stop and then would continue on, and there would be no railing here. But according to the drawings and according to like the CGI and also Stefan's drawings, it looks like the railing just goes right over that. Yeah, well, that'll look all right. Yeah, it'll look okay. Anyway, I think that's it for today, folks. Thanks for watching, and all being well, we'll see you tomorrow.